Good morning, good day, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Crotchety Old Man Podcast. I'm here with my brethren. We've got Gary Smith, we've got George Crumley, and myself, Paul Clements, are going to bring you another exciting adventure of the Crotchety Old Man. What's up, brothers?
Hey man, everything's everything, baby. It's a great day to be alive. 10 toes down, Jack.
Hello or up, either way.
Help you up. Leave that alone, PC. See,
As
you gonna
long as they
start.
wiggling. That's the thing. They got to be wiggling.
Well,
What up,
what you gonna
George?
say about that?
And y'all crotchety early this morning. He said it's gonna be an adventure, so I guess we gotta better buckle in and wait for this adventure.
Doggone Skippy. Tie yourself in, wrap yourself up, get ready, because we about ready to go.
Strap your seatbelt on and hold on.
Tight.
What we gonna talk about today, fellas?
Well, we want to continue with the subject as we did last week. We were talking about home ownership last week, and this week we want to continue on that same thread and talk about investment properties. To be truthful, I know financially I wouldn't be in the position I'm in today if it weren't for investing in property. So I still think that's a viable thing for everybody, And of course, when I say everybody, it's not for everybody, but if it's for you, it's something you need to investigate. And it's something you may need to consider. But investing in, residential real estate can really boost your income. It can impact your taxes and just improve your overall quality of life. So we're going to chop that up today and talk about investing in residential property.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
First thing, heck, we all know that one of the most salient things about real estate is this. Everybody needs somewhere to live. All right. And so while we did talk about home ownership, let's talk about, being able to have this investment property that will bring in extra income. Okay. We don't need the transition of who's in the White House or the outhouse and all that sort of things to dictate to us what's going on in our house. So in order to play that game, you got to make sure that you have more than one source of income coming in. It's okay that you got your pension, your 401k, Social Security, and all that stuff. Okay, but I'm talking to a lot of you all that's retired too. See, just because you retire from somebody's job don't mean you retire from making money. And so it's never too late to take advantage of some of the properties out here that have been foreclosed upon, may have been lost by taxes or what have you. And throughout the country, it's not just here in Detroit or Atlanta and places like that. But there's opportunities to pick up some good deals if you know where, how, and when to look. What do you think, George?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, last week, like we talked to first-time home buyers, and we wanted to emphasize, the fact that it's always a good time to buy a home if you can afford it. And it's the same thing with investing. It's something that you need to look at to bolster your income and plan for the future. So we're gonna kind of take it back to the basics, and we're going to talk somewhat to first-time investors. But like you said, Smitty, it could be someone old, someone young, starting out, working and whatnot, or it could be someone that's just retired. But I think first of all, you need to consider, what your goal is. We talk about that in any type of investment. Are you looking at cash flow, or are you looking at, to buy and flip? Those are two completely different things. So if you're looking for cash flow, you're talking about buying a piece of property that's affordable, fixing it up, and then renting it out. It comes with obvious advantages, renting it out, but it also comes with disadvantages. You become a landlord, and that's not for everybody. So that's something you really need to examine. Being a landlord, is that something that you have the tolerance for? So those are the kind of things we need to look at.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Partnership is good too. Back in the day, we used to partner up and pony up money, heck, to throw a cabaret. All right. Go rent a house, go rent a building, what have you. It was BYOB anyway, but we charge folks to come in. All right. Split the difference, right? Those are like what I look at is like a flip. Okay. You got to keep doing that, to George's point. All right. You find a house though, and you buy it at the right price, put a little lipstick and makeup on that bad boy and flip and sell it to somebody else, you hit a nice little lick. Now, when you do that, course, that's capital gains. And so to avoid paying capital gains taxes on that, you wash, rinse, and repeat. Do the same thing over again. I advise that, highly advise that for the younger people out there because y'all like that quick money. All right. And nothing wrong with quick money as long as it's legal money. And you can do this all day, every day. Okay. And just about, again, forming yourself an LLC. That's a limited liability company. Do that. Have access or own everything, but don't put nothing in your name. Do it through an LLC. Find you some properties out there. You walking past, driving past properties all day, got a dollar sign on it, and don't even know it. So when you're looking at those things, it's free public information also that you can go find out about houses that's in the tax foreclosure list or bank-owned properties and stuff like that. And here's something else, how you can also incorporate your skills, all right? You may know another brother or sister that's good at masonry. Another person is good at hanging drywall. The list could go on and on. But if you got some hustle in you, then this is another way where you can go out, get properties, and turn that into a nice little business.
Now it's interesting you say that, Smitty, because before the podcast or before the recording, we were talking about money versus our discussion about community. And when you and I, I was going to bring it up.
There you go.
So we might as well kick this thing off crotchety style. But
Right.
those are the kinds of things that are an advantage to me as far as community goes. When you got a brick mason, you got a carpenter. These are some of the things that involve the community that help all of us out, in the process. And I don't. When I was listening to you talking about the fact that we talk about building community, I don't think there's anything wrong with building community, but I think your point is well taken in terms of starting with ourselves first, and we doing what we need to do personally to commit to put in our part with the community that we serve and we live in. So back to what my point is that real estate is definitely necessary. It's necessary for our own personal wealth. It's necessary for our legacy wealth, and it also promotes wealth within the community that we live in. What's your take on that, Smitty?
Well, biblically speaking, a poor man has no voice. Okay. Number one. All right. And so, and I'm not saying all folk out there is poor, but here's a way not to be poor. Okay. And that's to get your hands on some money, get you some real estate, and build for yourself first. It ain't no different when you get on that airplane. What do they tell you? If something go down up in here, put the mask on your face. Who? First. Don't be trying to help out your community, the person next door. Okay. Or the first person over here trying to put the mask on them and everything, and you die. All right. Well, that's why the community is dying. All right. Because everybody trying to help the community, but you don't have no money. All right. So first of all, get some money. Now, when you got some money, you got some power. Because he who make the rules, has the goal, make the rules. So first, get the money. Then you got the power. Now you can help do something with the community. But you first got to start with you, number uno. Okay. So now, having said that, and some folks, they get all hoodwinked and bamboozled and all this stuff about when we start talking about money. We want to get all sanctified. We want to get all, all panties all bunched up in a knot. Money is not evil, okay? So we need to get out of that mindset. Real estate, most of the people who have real estate have what they call capital gains and pay little or no taxes. You know why? Because they have a lot of deductions. We got to think and grow rich, as the books say. Think beyond our nose. The only way we can help the community is to be wealthy ourselves. Now, wealth don't mean you got a whole $1 billion and all that nonsense. What it does mean is that you're self-sufficient.
Right.
Okay. You're not scared just because the administration talking about we getting ready to put 1 million people in the street and taking your jobs from you. That's a good thing. You know why it's a good thing? Because they're going to give you some money, because otherwise you've been released. Until that release comes, you're not going to be able to do anything anyway. Keep building that man's business and carrying on. Think you climbing the ladder. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't even going to get to the roof. So get off the ladder Listen to this podcast. Take that little 401k money you got, because you put it in an annuity, you ain't going to outlive it. So you might as well take that, and you and 3 or 4 of your neighbors get together, put up $50,000. Now you got 200, and maybe go out here and find you 4 or 5 little houses. All right. Now George said a good point. Everybody ain't made for a landlord. I always do partnerships. The rest of the guys didn't have, the compunction to put people out. I don't have no problem with it. Okay, so you always got to have somebody that has no problem. Okay, dealing with folks. I'm just being real. Somebody got to have the gumption to say, look, no pay, no stay. All right? Landlordship can be good. So if you're one of them ones that don't have the heart for it, and you may buckle because you see the kids cry or the mommy cry, well, then pass that on to somebody else who don't care about that. Yeah, don't get me wrong now. Yeah, I'm compassionate and I care about people. Only place you can live free is in a tent. Everywhere else, it requires rent. Okay, that's the real world we play in. Now there are programs for those who can't afford. That's why they call some stuff. I don't know where they got this thing about affordable housing. And anything that starts off with affordable, you already know that ain't gonna work. Affordable compared to what? Now there are properties and rental properties out there that are commensurate with a person's income or sources of revenue. Sure, but why hasn't affordable housing been built? I know that's what happens when we ask that question to the constituents who talk about building affordable housing. Because when you look at all the stuff that's going around, it's almost impossible to build affordable housing and make money. Now, there's some people that's doing it. And so what we have to do is be the one that learn it all, not know it all, and educate ourselves about how are someone else in, let's say, Toledo or Atlanta or somewhere else in the country, how are they building affordable housing and still be affording an income for themselves? How is that being done? Okay, by owning our own. If we start building, you got 4 houses, if you just get one, fix it up. Now you have an asset. Now, whether it's a regular bank or a private money lender, they will loan you some money on the value of that house or that small apartment building. This is how you grow by acquisition. And you take the money from that, from refinancing that property. Don't go spend it. Don't go buying some cars and stuff. Find you another house. Wash, rinse, repeat. Now you're playing with somebody else's money. Get you about 5 or 10 of those. You don't even need a calculator. You see, so we have the opportunity to take advantage of what's going on out here in our community. Because ain't nobody coming to save you. If anything, gentrification is coming to take it from you. All right? So the best way to stop that is get it yourself. And not just houses. Look at these properties where there's vacant commercial properties and what have you. Those are in the land bank too. Those have been lost by franchises too. So now another brother and sister that has a flower shop somewhere where they're paying rent out the wazoo that's taking up 30 or 40% of their profits, now they can come and you can rent that to them as well. See, we have the opportunities. There are plenty of them out there, but we got to take advantage of them. What you say, Mr. Crumley?
It's a lot, Smitty. That's a lot. But you kind of, you hit the nail on the head. And kind of just to bring it back home a little bit, I think it's important for people to understand a couple of things that they need to look at, and how to get started. Because that's kind of where we end up, is that there's a lot of information out here, but then the folks will look at each other and say, where do I get started? So I think here again, first of all, you need to look at location. It doesn't have to be in the city that you live, but if you want to be a landlord, sometimes it's good to, have it in a proximity where you can get to it quick. But then there's things that you can do around that. There's called management companies, which I strongly, encourage you to take a look at that. But, when I say location, you may live in California, you may live in Atlanta, you may live somewhere where housing is somewhat, unaffordable or is very high as far as being able to buy something that you're going to be able to rent out. But then what you do, you go and look at cities like Chicago and Detroit and Ohio, where, you can get houses more reasonably priced, and you can still do the same thing as Smitty was talking about. So you got to look down, you got to kind of expand your tentacles as far as where you want to go. And then certain things that you need to look at as far as the availability of these homes. They can either, one of my favorite thing is bank foreclosures. People don't, here again, a little known fact is that each bank has a list that they publish monthly or quarterly of the homes that they've taken back because people were unfortunately unable to, pay their notes. They publish that list. You can go on that list and you can actually purchase these homes. That's one of my favorite bank foreclosures. You have tax liens and tax deeds that's out there. You can buy homes off the courtroom steps. There's auctions out there you can attend. So there's a lot of different avenues that you can go to find these homes. Because, like you say, where do I go? That's where you go. And as far as financing, bonuses from your job. And that's what I strongly encourage you. Yeah, just because you're working doesn't mean you can't also buy real estate. And that's what I did, through my career. I continued to buy homes. And now I'm here again. Not only did I reap the benefit from a tax perspective while I was working, because as you know, especially if you're single, Uncle Sam's killing you with taxes. You need that write-off, and investment property can be a great means for that, being able to write off some things. But when you retire, it also becomes, here again, it's cash flow. You have an income from houses that you own. But, here again, how do you get started? Investments that you can peel off some money from some of your investments. I don't recommend taking money from your 401k, but I know some people have. And I don't recommend that simply because of the fact that you're making good money off your 401ks. Normally, if a company is doing a company match, you're making money there. So I kind of leave that alone because you're basically taking money from yourself. But there's other things, home equity, there's insurance, cash value and insurance. So there's a lot of things out here that you can, take money from. Tax returns, those are the kind of things you want to look at. And like Smitty said, get you some partners. Me and my brother, we started off together in doing this. In numbers, we're stronger. So those are kind of things that I would add to the conversation.
Man, as the old saying goes, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, take somebody with you. Go together. All right. Put money together and you can make stuff happen. All those things George mentioned are absolutely ways of funding real estate. But how you start? One house at a time, one unit at a time. That's how you start. You don't start out trying to buy 4 or 5 houses at a time or apartment buildings and all that. One house at a time. I mean, businesses are built like that. Businesses are built by acquisition. You buy one, then you add on to another with a similar kind. Real estate is the same daggone way. All right. Again, teamwork makes the dream work. And there's not a whole bunch of cliches and stuff. It's true. Okay. Everybody's got different skills sets. All right. And so I caution those at auction, because you're going to be bidding. And who gets the property? The highest bidder. Okay. So you end up paying more for the property if you don't know what you're doing. So if you're going to go to an auction, take somebody with you. I know a gentleman right now, old school cat. He started one house at a time. Today he has 16 of them. He's had those 16 homes for over 20 years. All of them paid off, paid for themselves. Refinanced and bought another. He hasn't raised his rents in over 6 or 7 years. His rent is still $1,000 a month. But you know what that is? 16 times 1,000. That's 16 grand a month. That's probably more than most folks will make it off their job, bring it home. You understand me? And so he don't have a 401k. What he's got is old school wisdom, one at a time, 16 of them. Now, yeah, maybe some people go and have to put out stuff, but he keeps a nice, clean property. He don't bother nobody, don't nobody bother him. So you got to shuffle folks in and out until you got the right mix. It's no different than a basketball or a football team. You may start off with 11 players out there on that football field. And yeah, some of them get traded every time because, some play better for another team than somebody. I don't know. Some of them like one coach better than another. Who cares? But what they do is they keep shifting it around, I'll trade the quarterback for somebody else until they get the right mix. And when they get the right mix on that field, that's what happens Sunday. You got a Super Bowl champion. So you got to think and grow rich. Business is just a game, but money is how you keep the score.
Well said, Smitty. Well said. And that's what we're trying to encourage, folks out there to look at that. We don't want You just get discouraged with a lot of things that are going on in the background, a lot of noise. As far you have to look out for yourself, and you have to figure out how to, grow your financial future. To fortify your family. And real estate has been, definitely a plus for me and my family. And so,
Yeah.
here again, that's what the Crotchety Old Men are all about, is sharing information that works. This has worked. I still have a couple of rental properties out there and in retirement, but I started buying them in my late 20s. So it's doable. It's just like anything else you want to do. Is set a goal and march to that goal. Like Smitty said, it's one step at a time. There's a lot of books out there. I always say you don't know what you don't know. So what do you got to do? You got to ask. It's a lot of books, a lot of information. It's not rocket science. It really isn't. As long as you got the stomach for it, I would definitely take a look at it. But yeah, it's definitely a way to go. And like I said, they're not making any more dirt. So you want to go out there and put a stake in the ground and become that land investor, because of the fact that, here again, and it boosters your position in the community. It's great to say, yeah, I own some property. Not only the house I'm living in, we talked about that last week. The home you live in is not an investment. Those houses that you buy afterwards are the investments, and they allow you to do a lot of different things in life. Multiple streams of income. Keep that in mind.
Go ahead, PC. I see something on your heart. Go ahead. Ask that next question.
I just like hearing you all talk about finances. I'm catching up basically, and
All
I'm
right.
catching up late in life. And a lot of what intrigues me are all the different products, all the different programs out here that you can get hooked up in. Like George was saying, there's houses you can buy on the court steps. So these kinds of things really intrigue me, and in terms of my um, catching up with the financial realm of life, um, those are the kinds of things that I need to look at in terms of reinvesting into property. I've had property, but I need to have some more. And like you
Amen.
said, Gary, working is one thing. It'll sustain you for a while, but in the meantime, you're not doing anything for yourself. You're doing something for that man you're working for. So we need to think in terms of getting out, having some projects that we can work on that'll elevate ourselves, and not necessarily just participate in somebody else's dream.
Right. I don't have I'll call it a luxury because if you don't take advantage of it, and I'm talking about 401ks, for those out there that's still working, you should take advantage of that 401k, put the maximum amount you have in. I don't have a 401k because I didn't work for nobody long enough to get one. All right. Or to put nothing into it. I ain't bragging or boasting about it, just the way what it is. But it had not been for real estate. If it had not been for recurring renewals of insurance, it had not been recurring income that I was able to generate, annuities or whatever, that's what gives me multiple streams. Okay. And continuing to do that to this day. So retirement for me is non-existent. But for those who do have that, don't just let it sit in there and somebody else is dictating. They actually are, and you've just given them control of your destiny. Okay. You're relying upon that person, whoever the heck it is, to make the right investment decisions for you. All right. Now, I'm not advocating that you go in there and take all your 401k out, but hell, if you're going in there taking it out to get Pookie out of jail, you're going in there to take money out to go on a doggone vacation. Well, dad, gonna take some of it out for yourself and buy you some daggone real estate. Okay? Because when Pookie come out of jail, he going right back. So that $50,000 that you went to free his behind could have went into you a doggone house that's going to pay enough money to at least get him a lawyer the next time. All right. So I'm just giving all right. I'm not stop joking about the thing, but man, stop wasting your money on stuff you can't get a return on.
And
That's
that's
the
the facts
problem.
of
Yeah,
life.
yeah, that's just a fact. You
Yeah.
taking money out buying crap. I mean, ain't nothing wrong taking you a vacation, but shoot, especially if you before 59 and a half, now you're paying taxes on it and you're paying a penalty. Now, how much sense does that make? None. Okay, so take some money, partner up with somebody, buy you some property that's at least going to give you some tax shelter, some tax write-off, all this other stuff. Because that's the game, y'all. When you go to work every day, you don't have none of that. You hoping that H&R Block or Howard Hewitt or Hewitt Howard, whoever the hell else is out there to do your taxes, all they gonna do is try to save you some money, and you happy as a, I ain't gonna say that, but you know how happy y'all are when you get the little doggone income tax check back. And all that is money that you know was left over. Okay, and then you go do what? Spend it. So I'm saying that this, y'all, think. Take you some money. Partner with someone. Yeah, you may not be able to do a whole hell of a lot with 10 grand. But if you just get with 3 or 4 other people, you know, before you know it, you got $40,000, $50,000. And to George's points, there are programs out there that will help you do the rest. But you got to start somewhere. And the best time to start is now.
Yeah, I hope our audience can see how passionate we are about this subject. Because like I said, I know for myself, I would not be in the position I'm in financially if early on in life we had not made that decision to buy property. And it's paid off, like I said, in multiple ways, and it's still paying off. So here again, don't let it be one of these well-kept secrets. Don't let it be one of these, if I didn't know, or if I should have known, or I should have done this. It's something that's obtainable. It's something that's doable, and we definitely encourage you, to go out and look at buying some residential property for investment purposes and see how that works for you.
Make it work for you.
That's right. Make it work for you.
Make it work. You look here. This is work. None of us are sitting here talking about this is easy. Oh, go buy a house.
No.
Life is wonderful. And you make all this money. Heck to the no. We ain't saying none of that. You're going to work your tail off. Okay, it's going to be frustrating. I've had people tell me, oh, man, I don't ever want to be a landlord again. I had a bad experience. Hell, if that's the case, I wouldn't have no teeth. Because you know what? I done been to a dentist before. I had a bad experience. Did that stop you from going? Heck no. I done had bad experiences going to the doctor. Does that make you not want to go again? Heck to the no. You want to live. So just because you had a bad experience as a landlord before, what you're supposed to do is take that education, because now you know what not to do the next time. You know who not to rent to the next time. You may know that you know what, I went it alone because I don't want nobody telling me to do it. I don't want no partners. That's a lot of colored people. They don't want no partners. Look here. Partnership is winning. You need a partner. Okay, and I can get scriptural on you again. Go to Ecclesiastes. I think we say with two are better than one. All right. When one fall, you got somebody else to lift you up. When you got your heart broken, or you feeling bad because somebody ran out on the rent or what have you, or they tore up the house, now you all alone and got to deal with that. Having a partner who can help change that stuff. All right. So stop being solopreneurs and start getting out here and partnering. We have to partner with each other. We got to trust each other. Okay, because ain't nobody coming to save us, y'all. So we talking about community building. Grab your neighbor next door. Grab the one across the street or whatever, around the block, and y'all start talking to each other. Hey, man, how let's buy up some of these houses. Let's buy this lot next door. Okay, we can turn it into something. We can build up something up over there if you ain't doing nothing but growing some greens. Doggone it. But you can turn things around if you look at each other and say, what can we do? Not what I can do. Because there's no I in team. All right, you got to take your money and plant it. And when you plant something, you ain't going to have no harvest if you don't plant a seed. And last time I was in church or anywhere else, I heard that a seed will take care of any need. But you got to plant something first. Where's the best place to plant it? It's in your own community. Bye.
Yeah, we got to stop being spectators, and we've got to stop being victims. We got to go out there and control our own destiny. And here again, from my perspective and our perspective, that's the best way to do it is buy some investment property. Get a stake in the ground. You're going to see a lot of benefits. And like I said, like Smitty said, we could probably do a whole podcast on the horror stories of being a landlord, a horror story of buying property. It ain't like it is on HGTV. I'll say it like that.
Hell no.
It's not going to be like that, but it's going to be very beneficial. And you just got to put the time in. It's just like anything else. There's no instant gratification. Okay, but hard work pays off, and that's what it becomes. Hard work and determination. That's what it comes down to. And you're going to have problems, and sure, you're going to be a problem solver, and you're going to learn from your mistakes, and you're going to keep growing.
Yep,
You
that's
know,
how you do it.
that's the whole thing, and that's with anything you do. That's with anything you do. If you got to control your own destiny. So
Let me say this one last thing to them folks that get out there. They're going to get a doggone award because you ain't never been late to work. Okay? They ain't going to give you no award no more. They used to give you an award, a little plaque. Oh, Mr. Smith never miss a day at work. You know, he's always here on time. But they ain't gave you no raise, ain't give you no seed money, do nothing. So miss a doggone day at work and go find you some daggone property. All right. So heck, I just came up in my spirit, man. I'm tired of hearing that, folks, man. People go in the world and they never missed a day. Like that's something to brag about. Fool, you should have missed a whole week and found you some property. Okay? Found you something to invest in. And stop all this old silliness. It's time out there. This is 2025, y'all. Let's go get this money. Shucks, stop playing. You're talking about it. You got to be about it.
And with that,
with that,
Yes.
I have a word for today, which goes right along with what you say. And the word is taken from Chinua Achebe, who's a great African writer. And it goes like this. When a rich man is sick, a poor man will pay him a visit to say sorry and wish him a speedy recovery. But now when a poor man is sick, he waits to recover, then goes to tell that rich man that he's been sick.
Woo.
So the moral of the story is we need to take care of our own selves and be rich on our own.
absolutely.
Amen. Amen.
And if you didn't know, as we say,
Now
you
you know.
Take
Peace
care.
out.
Be blessed.